what do you know about the history of African Americans in Claremore, or do you know any of it?
I don't. I've heard bits and pieces here and there. I know Lincoln was the elementary school. Father-in-law graduated here, and he said there weren't very many, you know, blacks in school here at the time either. But I know there's a couple of families who, you know, kind of stay around here, and the kids come through and kind of cycle through. But as far as that, I mean, I don't. As far as the, you know, major history, I haven't heard anything, you know, good, bad, or indifferent. Which I mean, I guess that's a good thing. I mean, you'd like to hear. You know, you always hear the bad things.
Right.
I mean, you know, you never hear the good things. But I don't think it's just kind of that there's no good and there's no bad. I think that's a pretty good thing right there. It's just kind of, it is what it is. Life is, you know, people are people. You're black, you're white, and you want, there might be some more to it, but I don't know it. I haven't heard anything about it, so.
Right. No, I think that's interesting because again, I've lived here my whole life, and so I'm curious. I've learned more in the last, you know, month and a half, 2 months working on this than I ever knew, which is, it's just interesting because I'm like, you know, do you know Jerome Riley? Have you met him at all?
I have not.
So he, on this video, he's talking about, like, you know, there's a whole street of black-owned businesses and, like, you know, restaurant and more churches and, like, all this stuff, which some of it still exists, and some of it doesn't, just like anything. You know, that's like how it's going to go. But I think it's just so interesting to know, because you just, you know, you watch the news and you know, again, I'm going to say this one more time. Lived here my whole life. I've traveled. I've been around, but I've never lived anywhere else technically, except for Stillwater for a couple of years. So I don't want to.
There's that.
But it's just interesting to get like the world view / national view of something, and then the actual hometown view. You know what I mean? And where you're like, okay, I get it. Things were bad, things have been bad, and there's relations that are problems, and there's whatever, but then there's a lot that's good, like you said. You know, there's all this, you know, I guess just over dramatic, you know, over dramatizing things. So I guess, okay, let me think. I'm kind of talking in circles here.